I just talk? My name is Julianne Perry. I'm an investigator of animal cruelty with the grassroots Animal Rights Network, Direct Action Everywhere. And I'm so honored to be standing here today with many activists who left all of their commitments that they had today, who dropped everything that they had to do with their lives in order to speak up for animals halfway around the world who are being victims of violence. 2 years ago, I was standing in Yulin myself, shortly before the festival. I was offered the opportunity to go to Yulin with Wayne Sheng, the founder of Direct Action Everywhere, and a Chinese American, someone who had grown up in that region and who had seen dogs killed for meat. When he asked me to go, I hesitated because I knew how difficult it would be emotionally. And what made the decision for me was I looked down at my dog Baxter, who I lived with for years, and I thought, what if he had been born in Yulin instead of in San Jose? Wouldn't I do everything in my power to help save him? And I knew that I had to go. When we went to Yulin, the first thing we were able to do was rescue 3 baby boys, including Pao, who's standing with me today, happy and healthy and safe and free. But our work wasn't over when we rescued a few dogs from the dog farm. We wanted to capture the violence that was happening behind closed doors. And there's actually something pretty encouraging about what's been happening with the festival. One thing that we know about violence is that progress happens when it is hidden. I am a woman, and for hundreds of years in this world, women were brutalized. Women were considered property. It used to be normal, commonplace, for a man and a woman to walk down the street, and a man could just stop if he was angry, or a woman stepped out of line and he would beat her on the street. And when women activists, women social justice activists like those standing on the street today stood up for the rights of the abused, what we saw was the violence had to be hidden. And the violence that used to be on the street was relegated into the home. And that was actually progress, and we are seeing that progress in Yulin. For years, dogs were killed on the street. But in the last 2 years, as you walk through the markets in Yulin, where they are killing chickens and goats and even wild animals like turtles, in the very back of the market is where they kill the dogs. And unlike the rest of them, they kill the dogs at night. They've changed their practices to kill them when no one is around, because there's started to be shame around the violence of these gentle animals. The same way that there was shame around violence against women, because activists, like everyone standing here with me today, spoke out and said it is not moral to commit violence on individuals who are at our mercy. But it is still happening, and we are going to keep standing here until every dog is safe and happy and free, like Pao. And while not all of us can go to Yulin and save the dogs there, we have incredible power and privilege as Americans. When we were filming what was happening in the slaughterhouse on the 4th day, after filming dozens of dogs being beaten to death every night, Wayne and I were caught. Wayne was badly beaten. Both of us were dragged away in handcuffs. For nearly 20 hours, we were separated and interrogated. I was placed in a metal interrogation chair. My ankles and my wrists were shackled, but it was nothing compared to what the dogs go through. And it was because of my privilege as a white American woman that I was able to get out of there, and that I was able to get out with Pao. And we're standing here today with those same voices, because what happens in America, and what happens specifically in the San Francisco Bay Area, ripples around the world. And we know that we have to relegate all violence before we can save every oppressed group. And I'm standing here today with a lot of activists who have the same amount of compassion for all animals. And one of the things that the dog meat traders will use as an excuse is that Americans are hypocrites because we kill dogs, or we kill pigs the way that they kill dogs. And in a way they are right, because the farmer who raised Pao started out as a pig farmer, raising and killing pigs for meat. And he was driven out of business by American pig farmers like Smithfield Food. And he had no other way to feed his family and himself. He turned to killing dogs for meat. And so with our privilege, as we stand here today speaking out against violence against animals, we also speak out against the violence that's happening in our own country. And we stand as a beacon of light to the rest of the world, proclaiming that it is never okay to kill any animal, that it is never okay to slit anyone's throat. I am so grateful for the many activists who have laid the groundwork before us. I'm wearing a pendant around my neck today of one of my heroes, suffragette Emmeline Pankhurst, who 100 years ago, like me, saw women brutalized. She saw girls as young as 12 years old impregnated by rape from members of their family. She saw young teenage women working in factories for 18 hours a day, standing for 18 hours without breaks, working with toxins, the same way that animals are being brutalized and have to stand in their own filth the way that Pao did when he was raised. And like her, we are standing up. We are using our voices, we are using our privilege, we are using our constitutional right to speak for those who do not have personhood rights. And it is thanks to activists like her that I am a legal person as a woman. And it is thanks to all of the activists standing here today that one day we will stand in front of the White House, and not only will Pao be a legal person, but all animals will be legal people, and they will all be protected from violence. And we are starting that here today. Woo! And we will keep fighting until every animal is free.